Oh, alright. I accidentally hit the fast forward button a moment ago, but it's all back to normal now. 6 times speed is working perfectly fine. No lag at all on either side. Let's try increasing it a little more. Let's go for 8 times speed. Alright, consider an older model, like this RP5. When playing God of War, even at 8 times speed, there aren't really any significant issues. It generally stays quite fluid and smooth on this particular device. Its processor, the 865, is certainly more than sufficient for you to enjoy playing a variety of retro games on various gaming platforms. Now, if you consider other systems like the Switch, and for PC games, you really should just play them on their original console or a dedicated high-performance computer. Let me back out of this for a moment. I just want to see if the new download is complete. Is it ready? It's not finished downloading yet, my games. Which one did I just launch? The one on the left or the one on the right? I'll just pick one at random. Whoa. Oh, your voice is a bit loud. My apologies, you startled me. I'm taking the resolution up to 3 times, actually. I'm going straight to 8 times. The default button configuration on this device isn't Sony's, you know. It's different from what you'd expect from a PlayStation-style layout, which can be a bit confusing if you're used to that. Overall, in terms of gameplay, this device is quite comparable to the RP5. The PSP emulator integrated into this device doesn't appear to be particularly resource intensive. In fact, I don't believe my fan has even activated. There are no significant problems, so I'll just exit now. And then next up, the PS2 the PS2 emulator. Oh yes, that's right, let's go ahead and test out this little device as well, while we are here. It's a quick test of its capabilities. God of War for the PSP. Also, that tempered glass screen protector I bought on their JD official website still hasn't shown up, and it's already been several days since I ordered it. I really can't be bothered to complain anymore. It's set to 3x resolution by default. Let's make a comparison and see how it performs. The primary concern is that the frame rate fluctuates quite noticeably during the loading of cutscenes. However, in combat scenarios, even with 3 times the resolution, the performance is still rather good. Overall, it runs quite smoothly. Alright, this concludes the testing for now. Also, these buttons here, what's their purpose? They don't even respond when I press them. Starting from this point, we're at a 2.5x resolution. Let's try playing it. Overall, for a device like the RP5, which has an 865 processor, if your main focus is playing games up to the Switch level, including PS2, the PSP that I just demonstrated, and similar titles like the Nintendo 3DS and NDS, then basically, there shouldn't be any major problems at all. The quality of the sound, the screen's aspect ratio, and many other aspects are still quite good, considering everything.
After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness.
It's already 12 o'clock, so it's time for bed. At 2.5x resolution, the entire display is white, as you can see. The game consistently maintains a full frame rate, essentially.
I estimate that this processor upgrade is primarily intended for emulator platforms, such as the PS2, or even more advanced systems. Its main purpose is to enhance the resolution and frame rate performance on those particular platforms. At 2.5x, we're not encountering any major issues at all, so let's try increasing it a bit further. However, at 3.5x, it's not performing well. I'm not sure if you can discern it, but at 3.5x, the frame rate plummets to 52. Or rather, 51 to 52 frames per second. When you're playing, you'll encounter issues like audio tearing and screen lag. 3 times the resolution is still acceptable. Okay, 3x is acceptable, and at that setting, the frame rate remains quite stable. Let me just eliminate these small soldiers first, and then we'll observe how it performs during the cutscenes. How did 3 more just appear out of nowhere? At this spot, the frame rate shows some fluctuation. It recently fell to about 55. Okay, for older RP5S, playing PS2 games such as God of War 1 at 2.5x resolution provides a quite steady frame rate, but at 3.5x, you'll experience a significant drop. There's a noticeable stutter. At 3 times resolution, most scenes run quite smoothly. However, in more graphically intensive scenarios, it might experience a slight dip in frame rate. Even so, you can play through the entire game without encountering any significant problems. Okay. The text is still so tiny, it's a strain to read. If 1 times native is what it means, then 1 times native it shall be. Ah, that's perfect. Once I finish testing this new RPG2, I'll compare it with the Odin Thor. Honestly, I feel there's absolutely no need to buy the AP6. You'd be better off just buying this one. The dual screen Odin Thor, doesn't that also feature an 8-inch screen, including the display? The screen is also considerably larger, a 6-inch 120Hz OLED display. The main advantage is that this particular model is readily available now, whereas the RP6 has unfortunately switched back to a pre-order system, meaning you'd need to wait until January of next year, just before the Spring Festival begins. That's truly irritating. I'm not sure which manufacturer started this pre-sale model, but it definitely set a bad precedent. You can't just do that, can you? It would be far better to produce a batch first, and then simply start selling them. You see, I'm really fed up with that pre-sale model. Whenever I encounter a pre-sale, I just get so annoyed. I just want to vent a little. If you folks happen to prefer this sales approach, then disregard what I just said. At 1x resolution, you literally can't see the characters, including the small monsters, clearly at all. Of course, my settings could be part of the problem, but I just want to emphasize this point. This device is definitely not for beginners, especially for people like me who are novices or who don't particularly enjoy tinkering with the front-end software and settings. Moreover, some of the Android apps on this device are really unpleasant to use. For a beginner, I honestly think you'd be much better off with that old gaming console from Brother Zhang. Wherever he went, I don't even know. His gaming console, which only cost a little over $100, was actually quite suitable for playing games, you know. The GBA games on this device are actually pretty decent, and the display quality is quite good as well. However, the screen resolution is noticeably poor. How do you even pause this? That last one was running at 2.5x and it was incredibly fluid. I don't foresee any major problems running this at 4x, especially since it's equipped with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And then, well, that particular thing. Alright, let's start by testing the frames per second. Okay, good. In the case of this Odin Thor, the top display is a 6-inch, 120Hz high refresh rate OLED. However, the bottom screen is quite a bit smaller. I believe it's only about 3.9 inches, nearly 4 inches. It's the same screen found in the Shandian Mini, which is also an OLED display. The Shandian 6, for instance, only has a 5.5-inch screen, and its specs are identical to this device. Honestly, I'd say you're better off with the Odin Thor. The processors are the same, but the screen is larger here, and with its dual screen mode, it offers a superior experience for playing games from specific platforms like the 3DS, or even Nintendo DS. It'll be much better. I haven't changed any settings yet. Running at 4 times the resolution, the overall frame rate shows no significant fluctuations whatsoever. Let's try adjusting that again and set it to 6 times the resolution. This Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, you simply must acknowledge that its optimization and performance are truly impressive. However, why are there so many vertical lines on the screen at 6x magnification? Let's adjust it again, to 8 times resolution. Can it be set even higher than that? Oh, 8 times is the highest it goes. Yeah, 8 times is the maximum. So basically, playing this game smoothly shouldn't be much of an issue, no significant problems whatsoever. Since this is the initial boot up, the buttons and other features will likely need some adaptation. For the graphics, 2.5x magnification shouldn't be a problem at all. We'll begin by testing at 3.5x to observe the overall fluidity and general performance. And then the controller will automatically map itself. That should do it. Oh right, I also need to adjust the frame rate. Huh? Where is the frame rate adjusted? Oh, I just adjusted this a moment ago. How did I forget it so quickly? My mind isn't functioning very well at the moment. Oh, it's right here. The resolution settings. The sound seems to have cut out, and there are some vertical lines on the screen. It looks like a setting might be off. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos plunged himself from the loftiest mountain throughout all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 long years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness. It had not always been this way.
I will send you back to the depths of Hades!
Why does this screen appear so dim to my eyes? At 3.5x magnification, the overall smoothness seems perfectly fine, without any significant issues. The frame rate remains constant. Indeed, the performance comparison is quite clear. For instance, with the RP5's 865, running God of War 1 on the PS2 emulator at 2.5 times resolution is typically fluid. However, this device is capable of handling 4 times the resolution. The overall frame rate consistently maintains 60 frames per second. The Odin Thor, featuring its Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, is approximately twice as powerful as the other two devices, so it can run games at 6x or 8x resolution, with the frame rate reliably staying at 60 frames per second. Let's briefly look at the ratios. This one is 2.5 times, and this one is running at 4x. So if we calculate 4 divided by 2.5, that's 1.6. If its performance score is, for example, 100, then this new processor, the Gen 2 model, which is this one, it would be approximately 160, a score of 160. This device's performance is significantly stronger, almost twice as much. Of course, for the precise, the detailed specifications, you can search for them on Bilibili, but purely based on the game performance, specifically PS2. In God of War 1, this particular device is currently running at 4x resolution, and honestly, pushing it to 6x or even 8x resolution presents virtually no issues whatsoever. The performance improvement is quite noticeable. Alright, now let's take out this other device, this little piece of junk, and examine its visual quality. We'll do a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, it's incredibly blurry. Alright, wow, this recording session is getting quite lengthy, so we'll wrap up the game demonstration here for today. Later, once I've had a chance to get everything prepared, finish the stream, I'll test out the Nintendo 3DS and other platforms like the PlayStation Vita and Nintendo Switch. I'll give them a try then.